Hello everybody and welcome to Cooking Competitors for New Show Plus. This is with MinnMax. MinnMax is a place about games, friends, and getting better. I'm Ben Hansen. Thank you for being here. This is a show where every week we let supporters over on Patreon vote to determine which new show we create or continue with New Show Plus. $10 supporters jump in there every week, let their voices be heard. And this week it was a landslide. This week it is Cooking Competitors, everybody. I hope you're ready for a fierce competition. They're gonna be cooking something, they're gonna be eating it, and people on Twitch watching us live will be voting to determine who has won the cooking competition for this week for New Show Plus. Joining us from his kitchen in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we have Leo Vader, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, I'm Leo, and I love to play video games, but I'm here to show Janet that when it comes to cooking, I'm not video gaming around.
Also, from California, beautiful LA, Burbank specifically, I think, Janet Garcia!
Hello, I'm not even going to try to match what Leo did, that was hilarious. But yeah, I'm here to honestly kill two birds with one stone and make my family's dinner while also making content. So it's a win-win.
Nice.
That sounds a little bit too nice, Janet. If you could really just hype up how much you hate Leo and everything he ever stands for and eats every day of his life.
Yeah.
Janet, okay.
Hurt me.
Okay, take two, and this time hurt Leo. Action, Janet.
Go over the line, over the line.
Hello, I'm Janet Garcia. And, you know, I don't know, Leo should stick to making YouTube videos instead of cooking.
Oh! Yeah, not gonna have too many subs for your kitchen after this, Leo. Oh, sorry, I guess the host shouldn't be this impartial.
What is it? If the heat, I don't know. We'll edit it in post, it's fine.
Yeah, if the heat, comma,
If the
I
heat
don't
and
know.
the content and the, you know, I don't know, it's fine.
Oh! All right, here we go. Leo Vader, tell us, what are you cooking today, dude?
All right. So today I'm cooking up a classic sauteed Brussels sprouts with goat cheese and balsamic and mashed cauliflower. And for the main course for lunch, we're gonna have some oven-baked ham sandwiches with a mustard glaze.
All of that?
Yeah.
Good Lord. Janet, what are we making today?
I am making a chicken pot pie. It has chicken, has peas, carrots, some other seasonings, heavy cream, and yeah, that's kind of the run of it. The only other additional things I'm making is I make the broth myself. It's just with the bouillon cube and boiling the water. But yeah, that's what I'm making.
Whew, how you feeling about that competition, Leo?
I'm feeling good. I love making chicken pot pies. I can't lie. It crossed my mind to make one as well. They're surprisingly doable for how restaurant quality good they are. It's one of those things I was scared to try and help, and now
it's perfect. Okay, well, what's step one? I guess, hey, this is an experiment. Everybody have at it. Feel free to pick up your phone, give us a close-up view at any point. Let us know exactly what's happening in that beautiful kitchen of yours. Leo, feel free to walk through the art, the beautiful Rastafarian lion you have in your kitchen there, whatever's going on there.
Thank you so much. First up, I'm going to just get the water boiling for the cauliflower. We need to soften up the cauliflower with a nice boiled water. Another one of my signatures.
Nice.
You always use salt. Sometimes you think you want to use oil in the water, but everybody who knows anything tells me to use salt in boiling water.
Really?
To get things not stick to each other.
Is that code
Not that
for,
it's an issue with cauliflower.
That's Reddit telling you that? Or who knows something about cooking? Who are your biggest teachers there, Leo?
Online cooking videos are pretty good. Internet Shaquille does a lot of short form stuff I like. Obviously, Cooking and Grilling with AB is a great channel.
Good
I absolutely
Lord.
recommend. I'm gonna get going on chopping the vegetables here.
All right, please do. Janet, are you intimidated by the amount that Leo has apparently studied cooking recently on YouTube? He went down a YouTube rabbit hole. You can't compete with this.
Yeah, I didn't know there was anything besides the rabbit holes that Leo creates himself. I didn't realize he also consumed the rabbit hole content. But
right.
Yeah, for me, I'm starting off with. I think the thing that's most impressive about what Leo's doing is that there's several steps and sections. I'm this is just the one meal. That's it. There's not sides. Like it is, the sides are inside. Like that's it.
I think.
First steps. So I actually did go ahead and already do the longest step just because it would take way too long. Like I can never cook stuff in an hour. It takes me forever to cook anything. So I just cooked the chicken. It's super simple. I just cooked it, baked it in the oven before we got started here. It doesn't look like super crazy. Honestly, it looks kind of whack, but it's just seasoned with what is it? I use Gaia all-purpose seasoning. So I just put a little bit of that and baked it 375. Usually I err on baking it a little bit extra because it's going to pick up the flavors anyway, so I don't have to worry as much about it being like dry and perfect because it's going to be in the pot pie. And then I'm always super cautious about like poultry and like not undercooking it. So after that, my next steps are just to gather the rest of the ingredients I have and try to like put them into little like either ramekins or like little bowls, because one thing that happens to me a lot is things get super messy super quick. So I'm boiling the water for the chicken broth, and then I'm just going to gather what are my ingredients and then how much of each thing do I need and how do I like compartmentalize it and where it needs to go. But yeah.
I think you should embrace the simplicity of your meal. I mean, if we've learned anything from the film Ratatouille, it's just going nice and simple with a French
I still
dish
haven't watched Ratatouille. That's the problem.
Oh my god, that's the biggest advantage I have yet.
Yeah, what are you doing, you freaking kitchen rookie? You haven't
I know
seen...
what the goal is. I know what you're trying to achieve with your food. What reaction?
Jenna has no idea what the ending of Ratatouille is. She's, oh my god.
No
what a
spoilers.
mess. Okay, all right.
I'm also saving it for a day where I make Ratatouille. Like, I really want to go all out that day.
Ooh, okay. Save that for next week. Yeah, I think that's a smart move.
So I have, let's see, paprika, heavy cream, flour, salt, pepper, garlic powder, Cajun seasoning, Italian seasoning.
Now, if this was a kitchen review show, let me just get a poll running here on Twitch to figure out whose kitchen you like more, Janet or Leo's. Who has the best kitchen? Not that this is a real estate, competition or anything, but I'm just curious to see what people think.
If I can find a photo of it, actually, I might be able to find it once this thing gets in the oven. A picture of my last kitchen in Emeryville, because it was awful. Like, this is such like I had like you could not fully open the fridge door at my last kitchen.
Yes.
So this is like a marked upgrade for me.
I just learned...
I'm feeling like we can relate on small kitchens, Jana. We're working with very minimal counter space here.
People were really in awe on Twitch of the amount of cabinet space y'all have, though. I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah, the cabinet space is key. The only con is, like, when you're short, you can't use, like, the higher parts of it.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Hey, just to steal a joke from earlier, Janet, I thought Leo had the choppy stream. Right, everybody?
Also, shout out to the overcooked measuring cup that I have.
Ooh,
oh, nice.
That's perfect. Leo, I have some bad news.
What's up?
You're working out of a deficit, dude. Janet won the poll for the better kitchen at 81%.
It is really, like, stupidly nice. I have a really nice kitchen.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Now,
I respect the outcome no matter what.
Yeah. Now, Leo, just to be clear, cooking is a new thing for you, right? Relatively new?
It still feels new, but I guess I've been going in on it for about a year and a half now.
What is in on it?
Really trying to stretch myself. Trying new recipes, learning the basics. Where I'm at in cooking right now is very much like not gonna brag about it. Not feeling nearly ready to brag about it.
Right.
But versus where I was at 2 years ago, I'm a new man, and I'm having like so much fun cooking, and I really have found a love for it. It's been a big development for me.
Interesting. So as a kid, you weren't interested in it? This is really coming completely out of the blue for you?
No, I'm always dopamine cycles, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
What's the point of cooking for an hour to eat something that'll take as long as if I cooked it for 5 minutes? To be slightly better. But now that I live with my partner, I got into cooking as like an expression of love for her. And now I see it more as an expression of love for myself.
Yeah, so like little ham sandwiches, that's your love language?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The 6th love language, are there 5?
No one's
sure.
Hang on, we're gonna get a poll on Twitch. Everybody tell us your love language. Let us know how it goes.
By the way, I did change course here. I'm not chopping vegetables anymore. I'm making the sauce for the ham sandwiches because those will go in the oven soon.
Okay, that seems smart. Let's see, switch back to this camera, get the nice, beautiful close-up.
I'm also pretty new to cooking. I think I've been cooking regularly for, I'm just gonna like, obviously I wouldn't do this normally, but just to like, for the vibes or whatever, we'll bring this pot of boiling water to the island. I've probably been cooking for maybe 2 years or something. I'm still very much like a recipe cook. I can't do a lot of, let me see what's in the fridge. Like, I have to know what I'm cooking when I do groceries. Like, I can't just like get a piece of protein and some herbs and whip up a meal from scratch. So that's something that like I think I want to work a little bit more on, like being able to freestyle stuff and like add and riff on the recipes I do have. Could be cool.
You got to know the rules before you break them, I think. But something that like my fiance uses, I'm not helpful in any way. There's some site that she uses where you can just list the ingredients that you have in your fridge or at home, and it'll tell you a dish that you can make out of that, which is a really cool idea.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I use mostly, like, the recipe I'm getting from, it's from a website called thereisfoodathome.com. And the woman who runs it has a TikTok under the same handle. And, like, her TikTok's kind of where she, like, blew up on the internet. And all of her recipes are good. The only con is, like, she does often use, like, a lot of heavy cream. So if that's something that you want to stray away from, you can't really as much. Like, but all of her recipes have been good. They're all really simple and really cheap. And then Budget Bites is the other one, which is also like super cheap. Because that was like a big threshold for me getting into cooking, was how expensive it always felt. It always felt like I had to spend like an insane amount on groceries that would just go bad, and I just have to make stuff that I hated, and I'd be worried I was going to poison everybody. So I didn't cook until 2019, 2020. That's when I started cooking. Like when I first moved in with like my partner, I really couldn't cook much at all.
Yeah.
He basically did like all of the cooking for us. And then eventually, like partway through that, I'm like, okay, let me try to like learn how to do something. Like it's just following instructions. But that's the con too. Like a lot of sites or recipes might kind of, or if you try to get recipes from like family, it's like, oh, a bit. I'm like, how much is a bit? They're like, you just sense it. I'm like, this isn't going to taste good.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a disaster.
I'm very much heavy in measuring too. And I kind of want to learn to not have to measure everything as much.
Yeah. It's hard because like, honestly, 90% of the time, if you're going off a recipe, you can use like twice the spices they call for and it'll be better than it would be otherwise. But there is that 10% of the time where you're like, oh, I ruined it.
Yeah, there's also the one thing I'm really comfortable like doubling all the time is garlic. I always add like double to quadruple the amount of garlic.
With you there.
Yeah, I think too, like learning technique stuff is kind of big because I feel like even now, like one thing, I've totally thought about like streaming, like or going like TikTok live or something while cooking because I figured it'd be fun. But I'm like, I kind of want to horrify everyone with how much like food I waste all the time because I just don't have like all the cutting skills super down. Like I barely learned how to like efficiently dice an onion, which is what I'm doing now, where I just kind of cut slits around it and then I like chop it on the side, so it's like basically already diced once you cut through it.
See, this is smart. You already got strategies. Everybody's on top of it. Here's the thing. First of all, thank you to Starkiller for giving us a sub on Twitch. They just commented one word, Min Snacks, which a lot of people brought up. Yes, I guess we did have a cooking show in the past. Yeah, but that was about just snacking. This is Min Meal. You're exactly right, Leo. Also, not to put more pressure on y'all, we ran a poll to see who's going to win this competition, who's going to make the tastiest treat here. Exactly split down the middle, 50-50. Wow. So pressure is on, everybody.
I find it funny, people, I guess a poll on what they'll think later, because I'm like, you guys are voting on what you're going to vote later. Like, you could easily just make it whatever you want.
But they haven't seen the beautiful creations, I think, yet. That's going to be the big difference. Yeah, I think the problem with cooking for me and recipes and all that stuff is that idea of eyeballing measurements. I always just feel like there's a shortcut. There has to be a better system than the recipe. And it's a terrible trend and trait to have in life, I think, just to always feel this way, like, I'm smarter than this. I can do it better than this says. It says to do it this way. I think I can get around it. And it turns out, just follow the recipe, everybody. You're not better than the people making these recipes. Just letter of the law. Stick with it.
I don't know. I think going off recipe and in general freestyling stuff, I'm with Janet of like, I wish I had more confidence with it. But when I do it and it turns out just improvising a little pasta sauce or something,
yeah,
that is like a level of pride I've never experienced in my life. And especially with a recipe where you're like, no, it would be better if I did this, and then you're right.
Right.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm being forced to get into cooking because of the show Survivor, of course. But we have a system where we like watch as a big group, and we all have our picks for who's gonna win Survivor. And if your pick, we have multiple picks, and if your pick is one that goes home that week, then you have to cook food for everybody and host the next week. And so it's like a nice challenge where like if my person goes home, then it's all on me. And so I made some chicken quesadillas, but that's baby time. Last time I made mac and cheese and broccoli. That's baby time too.
Oh, I love that recipe though. I have like also ignore me just like openly weeping because I feel like I always every like 3 onions I cut, one of them I cut too close to the bulb and then I just start frying. But I like mac and cheese is one of my favorite recipes to make. Like a good broccoli mac and cheese recipe because like the food lasts like a bunch. It pretty much always comes out good. That's like a staple for like when I want usually once a week. Like I cook like twice a week for my family. Like we alternate on who does it. And usually I'll try to make one of those recipes like the easier recipe, and like the mac and cheese one is always like, okay, that day's gonna be like pretty easy.
Yeah. Is there a somebody who cooks in the house that everybody's always looking forward to? Like the number one dish of like, oh, it's this person's turn. They're gonna be amazing.
I feel like everyone has their best dish. I think the chicken pot pie is one of my best ones where it's good, it's liked. Even my boyfriend likes it, and he like is a really picky eater. Like he actually mostly just does his own thing for food at this point because I live with like my whole family, so I'm like, well, we can just divide food up any number of ways. But yeah, like he just doesn't like a lot of like fish or like certain vegetables and stuff. But like, yeah, the chicken pot pie everyone likes. And it's like not too hard to cook. It's just a lot of like chopping up stuff.
Yeah, and apparently bawling your eyes out.
Yeah. Oh. I'm just so sad over what Leo said to me earlier.
Yeah, Leo, I think that was really cruel.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the best recipe that, like, in my house is cooked? I'm not sure at this point. Maybe something Maggie makes. Maggie's the best cook because she actually knows how to cook. Like, she can freestyle stuff, and, like, she like can make a bunch of different recipes, and like all her food's basically always good. I don't think she's made one thing that was not good. So it's probably Maggie, I guess, in a sense. But I don't know. Maggie doesn't experiment as much though, is the thing. So it's a lot of the same meals over and over again.
Yeah. People in the chat are already salivating. They're all about this.
Hell yeah.
Leo, what's
my
the
partner
best thing
is so. Oh, the best thing I cooked?
Yeah.
I made beef enchiladas not too long ago, where it's just like, oh, I meal prepped the beef. We can use it for a bunch of different occasions. And then I'm like, oh, we have tortillas and we have like tomato paste. Let me see how to make an enchilada sauce. And just divine, just unbelievable oven baked enchiladas. It's not the most complicated thing, but it's like the best flavor wise.
Huh.
I'm crazy about them.
Do you have a growing up, Leo, was there like a beloved meal and maybe a cursed meal that your family would make? Like, give me the highs and lows.
My dad's an amazing cook, and he loved cooking for us. Also, his love language.
Wow.
I think my favorite was like meatloaf and mashed potatoes and corn.
Meatloaf? I feel like that's the jokey, like, ugh, meatloaf.
Yes, it is. But I don't joke around when it comes to food. Hopefully I was clear about that in the beginning.
That was a big part of the original.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, he makes plenty of stuff way more complicated than that. He makes an amazing homemade pizza. Like, the best pizza I've ever had is homemade by my dad.
Really? Or this isn't
Pizza's super hard to do, I feel like. I've been scared to try pizza.
It's tough. And this isn't like a wood-fired thing, Leo?
No, just in the oven. But he makes the dough himself, and yeah, he brushes the crust with a special oil mix and things. He's got a lot of like grilled onions in there. Surprisingly good.
Is there a signature worst dish?
A what?
A signature worst dish that you remember from your childhood? Worst meal?
4 tablespoons of butter.
I got a Facebook memory the other day of a meal I made for myself when my parents were out of town, which was 2 waffles as the bread of a sandwich, and inside the sandwich was hot dogs and
Ooh, nope.
Fruit Loops.
Oh, yes.
How? I'm scared to ask. How old are you in this story?
Like 18, probably 17.
Oh my god.
Do you remember how it tasted?
Probably bad. I forgot all about it until Mark Zuckerberg surfaced it for me.
Yeah. All right.
God bless him.
Maybe that's a challenge for a future episode. Ooh, Janet's on the move here.
Yeah, I'm trying to like have stuff be where you can see it.
This is amazing.
That's pretty good. Yeah, like shout out to the I got like Kind of Funny has a partnership with Elgato, so and I had hit him up for like I'm like I need something for like my phone, like when I'm recording stuff.
Yeah.
If you have any recommendations. So I got the Elgato weighted stand with like the arm attachments.
Ooh.
And I'm like, I can do like not anything that's kind of dramatic, but I can do like a lot more stuff now without having to just stack stuff on books and stuff, which is kind of nice. But,
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Cool.
Yeah, this camera works on another level.
Oh, I have a little light.
Oh my god.
I've got my camera set up optimized for people who know how wrong I'm cutting these vegetables.
Right.
That was my thinking too. With like, and cauliflower was really hard. I feel like I get rid of half of it when I cook it because I don't know. I'm like, can I eat this part? I guess we're not going to, but let's see. This would be good, but
Yeah.
I gotta say, just as a viewer, as somebody who's just hungry sitting here, this is riveting. I really enjoy watching this. I think it's just
butter. We got the butter going.
It is.
But yeah,
just
like in my house, we like didn't have like meals like that, which is another reason I didn't know how to cook. Like we just did like rice and like frozen stuff, like plain meat, encore dinner, Salisbury steak. Like we didn't have like. I could not even name a home meal that was cooked. Like eggs, I guess. Like that's kind of it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, my life was like awful. My life was awful. My childhood was not the best.
But you're still living with your family. That's what's interesting, right?
Well, I live with my dad.
Okay.
I don't live with my mom. So yeah, like, but he didn't cook much. When he did cook, it was really good. He was like a big breakfast guy. But he like worked kind of less productive hours for like being around. Like he would leave at like 2 and like work that kind of midnight shift, like mid to evening shift.
Yeah. So
like he was never like around. Like I'd see him only like in the mornings, maybe on the weekends or something. So like he couldn't even cook for us if he wanted to. So my mom just did that stuff. But my mom can't cook, so she just would make. I mean, we ate, but like it wasn't like, oh, I'm making, what do you want today? Something like it was nothing like that. It was just like we just ate, encore lasagna, chicken patties. Like it wasn't anything like that interesting.
Yeah. My mom gave me the great advice throughout my entire life, where she said, Ben, if you learn one thing from me, it's that if you learn to cook, you'll have friends for life. And I said, okay,
That's
Mom,
cute.
we'll see about that. And then I didn't learn to cook, and now I'm desperately alone. So it turns out it was a good tip all along.
So what are all these people on the internet doing here?
Oh, that's right. Hey, you know what, Mom? Look at this. I'll send her the link.
Yeah, take that, Mom. You didn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Ignorance.
Yeah.
All right, so I got butter. I put 4 tablespoons of butter in the pan, and then I put 1 onion diced into it, and then I'm supposed to cook it for like a couple minutes until it's sort of like browned a little bit.
Yeah. How many times have you made this, do you think, Janet?
Maybe like 4. Maybe it's like the 4th time or something.
Okay.
Because I try not to cook. Like usually, I don't try to like do back-to-back recipes in the same like back-to-back week. Like this week, I'm making bibimbap again, and I made that last week, which is kind of a rarity. 'Cause usually, I try to like break it up a little bit because it gets boring eating the same stuff all the time.
Yeah. What's the name of that thing you just said?
I think it's pronounced bibimbap. It's funny.
Bibimbap is how I've said it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny
Fellow
because
Korean
actually I had talked about that meal like on one of the streams I did here at MinnMax where I was playing Hitman talking about that, and I'm like, I remember I said it wrong. So however I'm saying it is not quite right, but it's close.
Yeah, that boss was the stopping point for the deepest dive on Chrono Cross for this section, so it's kind of funny.
Good one, host.
Oh, let's see. Drew RW says, MinnMax serves up delicious content every other day. Oh, thank you. Joe Carpet says, I'd recommend getting into HelloFresh if you're interested in cooking more. They make it like creating a Lego set, but you get a meal at the end instead of the Millennium Falcon. Hell yeah.
Ooh, HelloFresh is too expensive to me.
Yeah, it is a little expensive.
And then I'm
promo
like,
codes
oh,
for the rest of your life.
I know, but then I have to keep like playing the make a new account. I'm like running from the HelloFresh people. There's it's a couple other subscription
you have to keep
ones.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Changing addresses. It gets it gets expensive in other ways.
Yeah.
Hold on. I did not mess up, but I have to. The one thing I have to do, which is like I hate doing. It's like the worst part of making this is I have to. What's the word? What's the word for it? It's like I tear apart like the chicken. Like I have to like shred it. And it's just a pain.
Yeah.
To do it by hand. And you can avoid it by just buying it already shredded, but then it's like, you kind of can only get that if you go like in person. I usually order my groceries to make things easier, which like my store started offering like during the pandemic for like pretty cheap. It's like $80 a year, and you get like free delivery on everything.
That's not bad.
But yeah, it's really good. So shout to that.
People are really in love with your kitchen, Janet.
Oh, thanks.
I am too.
Shazira asks, does Janet have the hot stone top to make the crisp bottom on the bibimbap?
No, I don't have like anything fancy for it. So I do not. I just make and I make it off again budget bites, so I don't know how like legit it is, but it's just like beef and like other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to change this because I can't see all of you. I only see some of you. Here it goes.
Perfect. I'm not proud of this. It's one of my, I think, worst moments.
Oh,
which
God.
I guess is a good sign. No, like in my relationship so far.
Okay.
But last night, my wonderful fiance was making steak salad. And she's like, hey, could you come in here and help me with something? I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, can you just like tenderize this steak? It's asking me to tenderize it. And it was just like a big vat of steak. And look, I'm not proud of this, but it just grossed me out. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm too grossed out to do it. And I'm not a vegetarian or nothing, but something about just like rubbing my hands over and over again against like just bloody raw steak. I couldn't do it.
I thought you had to like beat it with the mouth. Isn't that what tenderizing it is? Like,
I don't know.
Like,
the way she was
beat it up?
Maybe, but maybe she just assumed that we got hands that are tough enough. But
The way I tenderize is put it in a plastic bag and then beat it with a hammer.
Yeah.
Is that
Which
right?
could be less or more gross. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, like you hit it with you should have like a little mallet for tenderizing.
That seems better.
I use a
No,
straight
no,
up
she could still
construction
want you
hammer.
to
I
do
don't
it.
have a mallet. I get it from the toolbox.
Oh no, you're in good company, Leo. Because the other day I had what did I make? I made tofu for the first time, and they wanted you to like, you like have to put the weight on it to like squeeze out the tofu juice.
Oh
and
yeah.
they're like literally anything that's weighted, just get anything that's weighted. And straight up, I took like real weights. Like I put a cutting board and then I put a real like weight on top of it. It was like that or a bunch of books. So you know, use what you have. Like, what is a whisk if not just like a fork that is fancier? You know what I mean? Like, it's fine.
Exactly.
Somebody recommends for meat, put it in a bag and drive over it. It works every time. Thanks, Aaron J. Barry. Brilliant. Shazira asks, Hanson, have you ever prepared a raw bird? No.
Ooh, yeah, like turkey. What do you do for Thanksgiving?
No, I usually just eat the food that's put in front of me because I'm very selfish and obnoxious and terrible and dumb. But here's a weird wrinkle is we used to butcher chickens back on the farm growing up. And so I've never prepared a raw bird, but I've also like dipped a headless bird into boiling water and then plucked the feathers off it. So that's like a more raw version. I prepared the first half of the bird.
Have you gotten like city soft, like Midwest city soft?
Yeah. I think so. I think that's what's happened. Yeah, now I won't even look at raw meat. It grosses me out too much.
So what did your fiance do? She just had to do it herself?
Here's the part of the story that I feel really bad about that makes it even worse.
You lied about doing it.
Well, no. She was like, I don't want to tenderize it because I cut my finger, and so I don't want to rub like a raw finger cut into it.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is very reasonable. And she's like, okay, well, if you're not going to do it, I guess I'll do it with one hand then. I was like, okay. But I really felt terrible about it. So she eventually got it done, and it's great. And I'm looking forward to eating the steak leftovers here because she's an absolute champion.
Yeah, she should have definitely poisoned you, but like shout out to her.
Yep, she should have gone full.
Taking the high road.
Yeah, she's an angel.
How's like your wedding stuff going? Are you guys like already in the planning phases? Like what's up with that?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're in the whole planning phase, but things are pretty much locked down. Let's see. For food, we got some catering of just like
Nice.
some chicken and basic stuff, and then instead of a cake, we're gonna go donuts. A bunch of donuts.
Okay.
And here's just a little kitchen tip for you. Apparently they sell donut holders, which seemed like a small thing, but apparently it's a revelation that like instead of spreading out a ton of donuts across all these tables, they make basically just not literally this, but imagine a plunger upside down, and then it's just like a spindle that you put a bunch of donuts on, and then you can...
How is that not just a napkin holder?
I guess maybe it is. With like a smaller rod or something, but I was amazed by that. Like, look at this. A donut holder. Never have I seen such a thing.
My aunt, who got remarried recently, instead of having a cake, they drove to another state and got Krispy Kreme donuts, and they had it on a tiered holder.
Really?
So it looked kind of like a wedding cake.
So Krispy Kreme was like a legendary thing that wasn't around, so you had to go to another state for it?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be here in Minnesota, and we all got addicted to it.
Right.
Took it away, yoinked it out.
Were you hip to the news, Leo, when Krispy Kreme first came to the state? Because it was like every news story, it feels like it was just 30 minutes of every news program of Amelia Santinello on WCTO talking about the line to the Krispy Kreme and what a sensation that was. Do you remember that?
Not the news. I wasn't watching much of the news at that time.
Oh.
But I remember feeling Krispy Kreme fever in my own body.
Right, in your bloodstream. I get it. What's everybody's favorite thing to cook in the chat? Let us know. If you have a go-to dish, what do you got? I'm curious. Leo, at what point, where are you at in this process? What are you doing?
Sandwiches are in the oven. I just added the balsamic to the Brussels sprouts. Those will keep cooking for a little bit longer. It's good to get them nice and soft for me.
Yeah.
Cauliflower should be done in a moment. It's just boiling to softness, and then we got to let it sit for a little bit in the pot, and then I'll grind it up, and that'll be a very visually interesting portion of this broadcast.
I can't wait. Okay, 4 people's go-tos. Tony the Swordsman says rice and beans. Nothing wrong with rice and beans. It's beloved. You do you, Tony. Rock Party's a chicken stew kind of man. Interesting. John Skovic says a huge vat of jambalaya that I eat every meal for a week. That's fantastic work. Ooh.
That's great. That is one of my dad's best dishes I forgot about is jambalaya.
Really?
So good.
Kimchi, I don't know the second word, Rion. Kimchi jjigae? But that's interesting. Kimchi is something I should have more in my life. I'm not against it, but I've only had it once or twice.
I want to start making it because I can only really, like, my local store doesn't have it. And other than that, I'd have to, like, go to H Mart or something for it, where I also get, like, that's also where I get my, like, pepper paste from. But being able to make it would be kind of convenient.
Yeah. Carbonara, says Hugo. What is carbonara? Does anybody know?
It's, like, sauce? It's related to sauce?
Yeah, it's like a creamy pasta dish. It's usually made with ham, I believe.
Wow. Leo, you guys are very smart.
Ham and chicken.
Joe Carpet.
Thank you, I could be wrong.
Whatever. Joe Carpet says cast iron pizza for sure. Binging with Babish has a dough recipe that is absurdly easy and good. Interesting. Arroz con leche, says Tony the Swordsman. Interesting.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Shazira says, I have my mom's butter chicken recipe and it's so good. The process of getting her to quantify this recipe she just knows was so hard, she says. I love that idea of like, Mom, seriously, write this down. We need this.
Yeah.
We did that. My mom makes this amazing cranberry bread every Christmas. And in 2020, the big pandemic Christmas, is like, okay, I need you to write this down now, Mom, so we can cook it at our place. But it's fun. Everybody, get your folks to write down the best old family recipes. It never hurts to have those.
My partner did that with her grandma.
Oh, really?
Nice.
The grandma recipes. And we made this lemon poppy seed cake for Easter from it.
Oh my God, a little lemon poppy. Hey, Leo, don't
Lemon
take
poppy.
any drug tests, buddy. Hey.
Hey!
Woo!
This will be the least of my problems. We
Uh,
somehow detect poppy seeds and real opium?
Sarah says, everyone has such nice kitchens. Well, look alive, Sarah. You're probably going to be up next week, so get your kitchen ready or move into
Oh
a
my
new
God.
house, whatever you need to do.
Let's see. What do I have then?
Finishing these Brussels sprouts here, I'm going to be adding pine nuts for the last couple minutes of cooking. Roast the pine nuts on the cast.
Oh my God, Leo, this is so impressive. Hey,
Thank you. This Brussels sprout specifically, we make all the time here. This recipe, we love.
The aprons, by the way, for show or for use?
For use. My boyfriend bought these, and I don't use them that often, but like I like using them. And so they weren't initially bought for use, but today it's more like I don't use them all the time, but I'll use them today. Is the deal.
I never use mine unless it's like really messy. But yeah, for me, it's a status thing for the show.
It's for the vibes.
I get it.
Yeah.
Let's see. If Route says usually fry up some chicken and a bag salad for me. Nothing wrong with that. I had bag salad every day for lunch for years and years back at Game of Former.
That was from a bag?
Well, it evolved to be au natural, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to even remember. God, it feels like a lifetime ago.
I can't get lunch down. Like I hate lunch. Like that's the meal I often skip because I just don't know what to do for it.
Yeah.
And I know people are like just eat leftovers from dinner, but I don't normally like cook quite enough to do that all the time. And even that, it's like, lunch is the only meal where you're just shoving other meals into it because it just can't stand on its own. Like it's like the weakest one.
Right.
That's true. That's very true.
But I put my seasonings in. If I planned ahead, I probably should have put all the seasonings again into a ramekin and then dump that in there. Because I try to avoid. Otherwise, I end up with what I have now, where I have like when I go back, I'll have a bunch of different like lids all off of everything. So I dumped in frozen peas, and then there's some carrots. See, the carrots I did put in the little thing.
Ooh, this
so
looks
like,
beautiful.
Easy to put them all together.
Nice, colorful dish. Leo, she's beating you on color alone here, man.
That's for sure. My color's going to come at the end, if ever.
Ooh.
Here goes.
Yeah. Now, what are we doing here, Leo? Walk us through it.
This is an immersion blender used to mix the cauliflower into the concoction.
I assume his mic's cutting out because the blender's making noise.
Yeah,
they don't want us to know about the blender.
This is just
immersion blender for whipping up the cauliflower into a nice smooth puppy paste.
That's beautiful.
My favorite.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see.
We're also going to blend it with some cream cheese here for the recipe.
Cream cheese, really?
Cream cheese, yeah. Give it the right texture.
Let's see. We got more dishes. Puck Fitzberg says roast chicken is a go-to for me. Nothing wrong with that. My go-to dish says pooping forever. Maybe this is a reason for it. Is salmon with couscous, tomato, pepper, onion,
good.
Greek salad with a little sauce on the side. Absolutely.
Love salmon.
Bacon pasta. Ooh. One time, a very fun date I had once was we made a bacon apple pie. Have you ever seen those? Ever had those?
No.
It's like an apple pie, except the strips on the top, instead of being just, the lattice of the pie or whatever, you take like bacon strips. And you think it'd be gross, but that, and you put a little ice cream on top, secretly delicious.
Yeah, it's probably one of those like, what is it, sweet and savory situations?
Yeah. It's a real umami thing.
What do I have next? I have a spray that I use. Yeah, I just put some non-stick vegetable oil into the pan. Also, it doesn't have anything in it. It's just like, it's see-through, so you can see like the stuff underneath. One challenge I have with cooking all the time is like, when you don't like read the whole thing ahead. Like the first time I made this, like I realized that these are like the little pie crusts. They have to be thawed before you use them, or you have to like microwave them. And like the first time I did this, I forgot. So then I just was like waiting for 15 minutes
for
them to just thaw out. Yeah, one thing I did change about this recipe is they, I think, recommend a different kind of thing for the top. Like they don't do a double pie crust, but I just find it way easier to do it this way. So yeah, I just unravel this. Hopefully it's not too stuck. It's a little stuck.
I think this is going to factor in for the voting, but how hungry are each of you right now? Like, how much are you going to be savoring this food when you taste it for the first time, do you think?
Honestly, not much. I'm gonna probably mostly fake it to just take a
Ooh.
few bites and then eat later because after this episode, we're probably gonna work out. So it's also 10. It's like 10:40 a.m. where I am.
That
so
is true.
Right.
I do eat a little bit early sometimes, but like eating an entire pot pie will just be like the end of my day. So
Yeah.
I'll just have a little bit.
Fair. I'm pretty hungry. I have not had lunch, and it's about 1 here now.
Okay. All right. Let that factor in however you want to factor it in, everybody. But also the time zone has to be factored in. You get it. Somebody asked why.
So yeah.
Somebody asked why the music is so moody and dark. This is the Overcooked soundtrack. I assume this is from the later, darker levels in Overcooked.
But yeah, there's some like Halloween stuff with like the unbread and all that.
Oh yeah. Here, let's jump
Now
ahead.
get your all's lore together, okay?
There we
Like,
go.
come on now.
Now this is better.
Speaking of Overcooked, I do have one of the pot holders I have is from Overcooked, but I don't know where it went. So instead I have my KK slider pot holder.
Oh, come on. Leo, master of cinematography. My God.
Is it creating a good depth of field effect?
Yeah, you're regular Roger Deacon over there, man.
Oh, okay. God, this is heavy. Okay, the only thing I have to do now is just put this in here, which it won't like look as great in the sense that I have my wrists are too weak. So I'm gonna do it once it lightens up.
Okay.
Well, it's really heavy. It's like over a pound of chicken.
I get
but
it.
you just put it all in here.
We can tell it's heavy. There's jars all around it that say heavy, and they have an arrow pointing to the.
Oh
pan.
yeah, the heavy cream
Itself.
That's right.
For spices here, what I love about mashed cauliflower is it's a great vessel for whatever spices you like. For me today, I'm going simple. Garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, and a little gochugaru, a favorite staple from our local Asian market.
Gochugaru.
Cayenne pepper will do you just fine.
Interesting. And that is just spicy garlic stuff, right? Ooh.
It's spicy stuff. Ingredients: 1, Korean red chili powder.
There we go. Run, don't walk. Janet, that seems fantastic. Does it smell good?
Yeah, it smells great. Maybe I don't know if I'll lose by default because I don't know if it'll be ready in time. I still have to put it in the oven. But basically, the oven's really just to bake the crust. Like the food is already made. Like you could eat the insides, and you could probably actually eat all of it, and you wouldn't get ill. But like the pie part has to, get made.
Yeah.
You have to eat it raw. If it doesn't.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Like.
Let's see. Drew says Janet is the professional and Leo is the auteur, and that's what's going on here.
Interesting.
And
It's
then,
Rocky versus
what do I
Drago
do
here.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, Rock Party
last
cannot believe
thing-
how big that pot pie is going to be. It seems massive. Maybe it's a camera trick, but it does seem like it's 4 times the size of Janet's head. So it's going to be.
Oh,
It's
man.
sizable. Hold on. Okay, I have to get an egg out of the fridge.
Has anybody ever severely messed up a recipe?
Oh yeah, I had the worst cooking thing like a few weeks ago, where my brother had made this recipe and it was pretty good, and I had made it once before that and it was pretty good, but then this time it just didn't work out, and now I don't know if I'll ever make it again. It was just like a chicken soup, but like soup's one of those things, like a lot of cooking stuff, it's not that hard to do, but like it takes time, and there's the effort in the chopping. So like I was cooking this thing like all day long. This is what is it? Like the egg or whatever that I have to whisk. So like I kept cooking this thing. It took me forever to make. I finally finished it. A bunch of other things went wrong where I wanted to make like something on the side. Like I was missing one of also like the spices that I wanted to use. And the whole thing tasted burned. Like it tasted like charcoal. Like, and I'm like, why is it like this? And it turns out that like the recipe called for you to like cook the meat in the big like pot that you were also going to cook the soup in, but that pot kind of sticks. So basically it got stuck and like burned to the bottom. So that's why it had like that charred taste to it. And I hated it. Everyone was really nice and tried to eat as much. Like my boyfriend ate a bunch of that out of pity, I think. And I'm like,
nice.
You really don't have to do this. It's kind of gross. We're just going to throw it all in the garbage. That wasn't the worst thing that I made. Maggie actually liked it. She's like, I like the burnt taste. It kind of tastes good. And then my brother's like, what's wrong with you? Like, this is definitely not a good meal, but Yeah, that one was rough.
I will do that. Yeah, I will eat almost any botched meal, especially if it's just like burned. Like you could just hand me a char of blackened nothing and say, hey, this used to be a vegetable. I will dive right in. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, I try to eat the worst part of whatever I do make, though, out of courtesy, like when I'm the one cooking.
Yeah, cooking is really the ultimate selfless act, especially if you don't eat the food. It's really incredible. You're just spending an hour just so somebody can have a nice little taste in their mouth, you know?
Ooh, I don't think I've ever cooked and not ate the food, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's my thing.
You'd have to be a maniac or a paid professional to do that.
My cooking horror story was ironically, to misuse a word, with a chicken pot pie.
No.
It was my first time making it. I was trying to get the gravy to thicken, and I kept adding more and more flour. It wasn't thickening. I looked up other ways to thicken it. I kind of got it there a little, but I was like, I just have to cook it. I can't keep adding this shit.
That's rough.
And my girlfriend got home, tasted it, said, this is weirdly wheat. And what had happened is that I had used our very similar looking containers unlabeled of flour, sugar, and powdered sugar. I used powdered sugar instead of flour.
Oh.
This was early in my cooking career.
Oh, no.
And that, we normally also can eat our way through something that's not ideal. That we could not.
Oof.
There was no reason to put us through that. Candy chicken pot pie.
That's disgusting.
The worst, too, is when you mess something up and then you're like, I guess I'll just order something. So now you're taking like a financial L, like a moral L, like it's just
right.
It's a lot to parse out.
That is rough.
Well, yeah, I have it in the oven now. I'm just gonna show what I have when the hour's up. It's not gonna be cooked all the way, so I might not eat it. Maybe I'm disqualified, but
Well, how long does it take to cook that thing?
35 minutes.
Good Lord!
But I have like 10 of those still, so hopefully.
Thank you for showing us the more interesting part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why, like, and even with, and again, and like, I also am just like a little bit slower, and then admittedly, I probably dragged on some parts that I could have like sped up a little bit. But like, cooking always takes me forever. Like when you're like, oh, like an hour, I'm like, it's gonna be hard for me to get anything made in an hour because normally cooking takes me like, that's the whole day.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I made the chicken ahead for that reason because I'm like, again, the chicken's like 20 minutes in the oven or something, but like you still have to get that made and all that. But yeah.
Ooh.
I'm surprised you can make something so elaborate, Leo, in just a small amount of time.
Thank you. I definitely picked things that take less time, for sure.
Shazira says the air fryer is her new favorite gadget. Yeah, what is it seems like over the last 5 years, everybody has fallen in love with air fryers. It's bizarre how these
my
cooking
boyfriend
trends.
just got an air fryer.
See?
He's big on like the air fryer, the pressure cooker. Like I don't like doing any of that stuff. I just feel like I'm buying different versions of like ovens to like skip some other stuff. Like I just am not really that interested, but he's trying to figure out how to like time everything appropriately and stuff.
Yeah. Leo, are you alive?
Oh, can you not see him anymore? Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a call.
Oh. That's fine. Is it the neighbor because they want to come over and eat some of this delicious food?
It must be.
Hell yeah. Here's a word I don't know. General Jackass is asking, anyone ever used a sous vide? S-O-U?
Sous vide.
Well, yeah, what is that?
That's like, I could be totally wrong again, but isn't it like a double boiler where it's like, it heats, you boil the water under the pan so that what's in the top pan doesn't stick to it because it's just getting heated by steam?
Oh.
Is that what sous vide is? Or is that in the oven?
I don't know.
We'll let you explain it, chat.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you
So I've
submerge
not
it.
used it.
You submerge it in water to get the temperature, then sear, is what Dreadnought says on Twitch. Interesting. Very interesting. People raving about this air fryer. Brody Man says air fryer is just a better toaster oven, but like a lot better. Hugo says air fryer legit changed my life.
Yeah.
People love the air fryer. You can do a lot with it, and then you can do like some really funky stuff. Like people will be like on TikTok, like air frying like pineapples and random stuff just to see what happens to them.
Ooh, okay, just a side shot, but that does look tasty as hell, Leo.
Thank you. This is a beloved recipe. It's definitely moist, maybe moister than usual. I think you use a little extra butter, but they're supposed to be soggy. The buns are full of the flavor of the mustard sauce you've whipped up here.
My God.
So do you normally like cook lunch then, Leo? Is that like part of your rotation?
Sometimes I like to meal prep lunch for sure when I can, but it is nice about the work from home lifestyle that I can fit in a cooking of lunch when I need it.
Yeah, without work from home, like lunch, I mean, cooking anything, just doing it after like a long commute is kind of a pain. Like you don't finish everything until like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Radio Uh-oh is asking, what's Leo making again?
I don't know what the name of this dish is. They're like oven-baked, mustard-coated ham sandwiches and mashed cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. But I'm going to get it plated up and show it to you in a second.
Hell yeah.
The ham is not fully cooked through. While the buns are toasted, the ham's already fully cooked, but it's not like heated to the exact level I wanted, and I want to be honest about that.
Right. Well, thank you for being honest.
You're welcome.
Soggy Buns Leo. People are chatting in the chanting.
That's fair.
Everybody's going out there, yeah. General Jackass, anyone ever finished a sear with a blowtorch? It looks fun. My God.
No, I've
Couldn't
not
imagine
used
such a thing.
anything too elaborate. I have a pretty like simple setup here.
Yeah. Janet, that people are still in love with that kitchen. We all want to just move into your kitchen.
It's really good. I'll do, you know what, here, there's some time. I was just gonna, like, start washing and stuff, because that's the other thing, like, I end up having, like, such a mess, and then I have to, like, clean it all, so, like, normally during this time, I try to, like, wash whatever I have. But, yeah, here's what I have going on. I guess I'll start from where it begins. My door is here.
My God.
Yeah, and, like, you know, that's, like, how my living room is. It's, like, an open concept thing.
Yeah.
I was really big on having an island. Like, I love having islands in kitchens, and ideally my perfect island is completely an island, like not connected to anything, because I feel like when it gets connected you just fill it with garbage. So
yeah, it's an archipelago.
At least we fill it with garbage. That was a problem we had in other apartments. So yeah, I mean, this is like the whole thing. It has like a big window. I'll start from this side. Maggie suggested we buy this like coffee thing so you can like sit here and like check out the view.
Janet can look at a mountain. Leo, where's the mountains out of your
Wow.
window, man? Good Lord.
That's amazing.
We got the fridge, which, fun fact, in LA, you have to buy the fridge. Almost no apartment has a fridge. You have to bring your own fridge, which I did not enjoy purchasing.
That's absurd.
So, yeah. And those are, like, I don't know, the cabinets. Obviously, the angles are a little weird because I can't really see it as well.
It's perfect.
We got a sink. There's just one side, which I think works actually better than having a two-sided one where you never use one of the sides, where they're both always full. Yeah, the thing I really like, too, that we have is we have, like, a Lazy Susan that came with everything.
Beautiful.
So, like, all the spices are there, which is convenient. Other stuff, like, I got used to office culture, so I bought one of those little, like, cereal things.
Office culture. Did IGN have that?
Yeah, I had a bunch of, like, cereals. Like, you had a bunch of cereals, coffees, beer, wine on tap, like, you know, you just you didn't have to eat breakfast. It was nice.
Yeah.
Stove, which is really messy. Microwave and everything. And then, yeah, just the other cabinet. But that's the kitchen.
Beautiful.
It's really good. Admittedly, this is the nicest apartment I have ever had, in my opinion. I think it's a pretty clear landslide, but yeah, the kitchen was a big thing that, like, after having a really bad kitchen, especially in the last place I was at, I'm like, I really want a good kitchen. Like, I want ideally open concept. I want, those are kind of the main things I wanted. My apartment doesn't have a washer or dryer, though, which is probably the worst thing about it.
That's rough.
But, like, we have some other cool, like, things. Like, we have, 2 sinks in, like, the master bathroom. So, like, me and my boyfriend can, like, brush our teeth at the same time, which is fun.
It's a bit of a race.
I got used to that lifestyle, you know? It's like I'm, like, a little kid. Like, we just, like, have our nighttime routine and go to bed. And we have, like, a little tiny balcony off of our bedroom, which ideally I'd like that in a more communal spot, but, like, there's some nice extras that we have here. We'll see what I end up living at next. Hopefully it's near as nice, or it won't be as big.
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend, but, you know.
Are you moving soon?
Yeah. I don't think so. I think we're gonna wait until like it's gonna be like a 2023 thing. I think. Because we're like, working through maybe paying off some other stuff. Like I think my boyfriend wants to get a car and then try to pay that off and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah, should be fun.
It'll be
but also,
fun.
like, I move way too much. Like, I move all the time. I've never stayed anywhere for more than, like, a couple years.
You gotta, stay on the run from the law. We get it.
Yeah, it's the HelloFresh, I keep signing up for the free trial, and I don't want them to know that it's just me with different mustaches on.
Smart. Yeah, I just learned that this seems impossible, but I learned that apparently my uncle dodged the draft going to Vietnam because he's like, oh, I just moved every 3 months, and then the government couldn't find me. I was like, what? That seems so easy. Why wasn't everybody doing that to get out of Vietnam?
That seems like a lot of work, though. You got to first and last. Like,
You know what else is a lot of work? Going to Vietnam and killing people, Janet.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like, no comment on how I would or wouldn't dodge the draft if I was a man in the era.
Really? No comment? You're not going to take a stance?
No, I feel like why the government's watching all the time. Like, why risk it?
Right.
I wasn't in the military, so I think you know that I'm not interested, particularly. But yeah, crazy times.
Yes. Leo, #1 Chicken Run fan here.
That's right. I'm ready for the lunch reveal.
Oh my God! All right, Janet, you ready to witness this?
Sure, I'll bring out whatever I have, even though it's not done yet. But
great. By the way,
wait, hold on, give me a couple seconds.
Sure. Grant, the chef from MinnMax, jumped in the chat on Twitch, and he says, this doesn't look like MinnMax. Yeah, sorry, Grant. You're yesterday's news, but if we keep doing this for New Show Plus, you should totally cook on an episode, because you're an excellent cook.
You should be the last boss.
Ooh, I do like that idea. Okay. Janet, you ready? Can you see stuff?
Hold on. Give me, like, 2 more seconds, because I just got a notification, and it won't leave. Okay, hold on.
I'm being hounded. I'm being harassed.
Leo!
That's how you know lunch is done and good.
Yeah, if you just tuned in on Twitch, Leo's going to eat these cats live on air. Everybody get ready. Here we go. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Lunch.
It's really nice.
Ooh, Leo.
Thank you.
That's really
Excellent.
good.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Now, do you want to take a little nibble before we see Janet's?
Sure.
Just to prove it's not poison? Oh,
Can't believe it's not poison. Go for a Sammy first.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, a little greasy the way I like it.
Hell yeah. All right, look at the face, study the face. How's he reacting? He's hungry, keep it in mind. Seems hot.
That's just right. It's pretty fatty ham.
Okay.
But the flavor profile, the sauce, very happy with that.
Nice, nice.
Very happy with that.
Okay. And now everything else? Let's see. Ooh.
Get into the mashed cauliflower. A little color
God.
to it from the gochugaru.
Yeah, smart detail.
Thank you. That's not bad.
Okay.
I do love cauliflower, and you can tell it's cauliflower, and it's a fun new way to eat cauliflower.
Yeah, for sure.
I understand that.
A lot of people recommending cauliflower for the pizza crust in the chat. It's definitely great. It's wild. Yeah, cauliflower turns out it's the most useful thing. Okay.
I went to the grocery store today, and their cauliflower was empty, and I asked an employee, like, are you sure you don't have cauliflower?
Yeah.
I said, no, we got some today.
Nice.
Fair enough for me.
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts, a little bit of goat cheese, and a pine nut on the top, making sure I'm getting it all.
Okay. He's got it all. Oof. Brussels sprouts got a bad rap when we were kids. Secretly delicious. Ooh. Leo doesn't seem impressed.
I think I needed more balsamic vinegar.
Okay. Not bad, though. Not bad.
Not terrible, but not our best Brussels sprouts. That's the low point of the dish. I'll say that for sure.
Okay. All right. And how are you feeling about all of it as a package? How's your mouth feel? Is that what the thing means?
I'm pretty happy. I journey around from bite to bite between these dishes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty satisfied.
I love it. All right, Janet, what do you got?
All right, this is mine. It's not done yet, and that's the end, so I'm not going to eat it.
Coward!
I did put a picture in chat of what it looks like typically. Ooh. I know I can't necessarily get credit because it's, not done yet, but that is what it will look like.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of, gives you an idea of where it's going. Right now it looks still, really, plain and yellow. It needs to get, a little bit more brown. So, yeah, I mean, I know what it tastes like. It's good. the end. I'm not gonna. That's my presentation, and I'm gonna put this back in the oven because I do have to eat this at some point in real life. So, yeah. Also, here's
Can
my,
you update us then how good it is?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do a post. I'll do a post-mortem on what this is.
Yeah,
But yeah,
good.
but that is how it normally kind of comes together.
Remember how good it looked as Janet was shoving stuff in there, because I feel like an undercooked pie from the top, that's a tough thing to show off at the end of the stream. But just imagine all those ingredients with a crispy brown top when you're voting, because the poll's running right now, everybody.
Just let the stream finish in front of the oven. Yeah, like I have I have 16 more. You really gotta let it cool for 10. So I'm like, hey, it is what it is. But
plus, yeah, you're gonna put it on the windowsill, and then a cartoon character is gonna come steal it. So you can't win with a pie.
100%. But I did what I could do with what I had available to me.
Yeah, Void in the chat says, I'm hecka impressed with that chicken pot pie. Everybody seems very impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Shazira has the great suggestion asking, hey, can we get these recipes? Are y'all willing to share the recipes? We can put in the description for the YouTube version of this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
I always want to share this recipe. It's really good.
Now, Leo, not a nibble for the cats? That's your policy?
Give them a penny, they'll take a mile,
I get it, man.
For a while, I did feed them,
results
but
are
they just want it too bad.
It's the kind that keeps you up at night. Ben, I'll let you read off the results.
Yeah, the results are in. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner for Cooking Competitors Week 1 is Leo Vader, everybody. He's at 52%.
By one.
Wow.
One vote
from a tie.
Oh,
but you know what?
Yeah.
Those are the losses that keep me up at night when I'm sleeping off the pot pie.
That's
but
rough.
Leo did a lot in the time that he had, which I think was really cool. And I like the multiple elements of it. I think that's really fun when you make dishes, because sometimes you find like some things that pop and some things that don't. You can kind of mix and match them in the future. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm sad to be going home tonight.
Yeah.
But I still love cooking. I'm always going to have to cook to live, and no one can take that away from me.
That's right. Absolutely not. Leo, how you feeling today, man?
Oh, I'm feeling high off that win for sure. Janet was a great competitor. It was an honor to go against her, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna really get a big ego about that. And I can't wait to find a place to use the $10,000 cash prize.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, and look, if you think this wasn't fair and just, you can always follow us on Twitch, everybody that's watching on YouTube. That's twitch.tv/MinnMax Show. We'd appreciate a follow. And if you really want to help support content like this, you can do it directly by going to patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's, everybody. And if you're at that $10 tier, you can jump in and vote for us to make a new episode of Cooking Competitors next week for New Show Plus. It's completely in your hands.
And I think we should do, winner moves on. Their challenge.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Ooh, interesting. Or if we get 2 other people, then maybe then it's the winner of that bracket moves on and goes up against
bracket,
you. Yeah.
Championship, yeah.
Like one of those challenge.com brackets we love so much, Leo.
Famously.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week with a new episode of New Show Plus. It's your call if it's going to be this again. Bye.
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 Every week, we let Patreon supporters choose which new show we create with New Show Plus. Should we create another episode of the show you just watched? Check out the biggest new game release? Get into Sea of Thieves? Create an exercise show? It is your call. So thanks to everybody who subscribes on YouTube or supports us over on Patreon. MinnMax exists because of you. As always, if you enjoy MinnMax content, any help telling a friend is appreciated.